This report originally appeared in Book 7 on page 33 of the Shulgin Lab books. A First Experience with 2CB by Donald Isaac. The author of this report has had more than 50 experiences with various psychedelics ranging from LSD, peyote, mescaline to MDMA. This experience was with approximately 20 mgs of 2CB ingested about 4 hours after taking approximately 150 mgs of ecstasy. An exposé of an experience using a normal dose of MDMA, followed by 4 hours later by 20 mg 2CB. Note: 150 mgs of MDMA may be considered a high dose and a lower one suggested when combining the two. Experience, of course, will vary. The ecstasy had almost worn off. A group of 17 drank their potions of 2CB around a table centered with flowers and candles. Someone began to sing the Sufi song, "All I Want of You is Forever to Remember Me Loving You," followed by Arabic words, Ishq Allah ma bo lay, invoking union with the divine. After we had held each other, repeating the phrases, looking into each other's eyes, in our imaginations, we placed all our loved ones not present on the table between us, and sang another few choruses for them. The drug became first known to me as a shift of colors toward golden and rose tones. The drug became first known to me as a shift of colors toward golden and rose tones. Pigments in the room became intensified. Shapes became rounder, more organic. A sensation of lightness and rivulets of warmth began seeping through my body. It seemed to affect most of those present. 3 had gone to converse in another room. A pair of lovers left for the hot tub. The waves of energy washing through us intensified. And soon, for me, psychedelic visions began to form. Bright lights began pulsing and flashing behind my closed lids. I began to perceive waves of energy flowing through all of us in unison. When I sighed with pleasure, others moaned in unison. I saw us all as a grid work of electrical energy beings, nodes on a bright pulsating network of light. One of the other participants later reported the same visualization. Then the interior landscape shifted into broad scenes. Dali-esque vistas were patterned with eyes of Horus. Brocades of geometric designs began shifting and changing through radiant patterns of light. It was an artist's paradise, representing Virtua 1 light-year, the full pantheon of the history of art. Up and around us, huge mythic archetypes stood. They were sphinx-like, tall, ominous, shadowed, sometimes like the Assyrian Hittite winged lions. Then shifting through archetypes of temple guardians from old religions, and from those of planets I had not seen before, ancient, alien cultures. Another interior voyager was standing throughout, unlike most of us sitting down, and reported later that he felt himself become, at the periphery of our group, a series of religious archetypes. Several were standing, playing with the energy as it flowed through their bodies, hands outstretched as if traffic directing the borealis of space and time. By this time, about an hour and a half into the trip, I was seeing my visions with my eyes opened or closed. The lovers outside were both witnessing the arrival of a guardian angel, which gave one of them a heart, and the other a sword of power. This was a full-blown, eyes-open vision. By this time I was traveling to other planets and dimensions. In each realm, a religious ceremony was in progress. On one plane, there were huge, mantis-like beings, wise, sepulchrally dignified, welcoming me with their ritual. On another, green, gold, blue and purple beings that looked like small crystalline insects shaped and reshaped in kaleidoscopic formations, sending me urgent messages of mute import. Finally, a dimension appeared where all was crystal life forms. All were incredibly beautiful energy beings. on both micro and megascopic sizes. Many in the group were experiencing wild hallucinations, but the themes of crystalline beings, Egyptian forms, and light beings seemed common to many of us on later comparison. The energy waves were radiating through me from a central circular channel located around my pelvis. My thighs were shaking. If I stood up, I could direct the energy through my spine and out through my limbs. During this time, all of us could converse with each other at will. When someone entered the room, we could decompress to an ordinary level of reality. We were not overpowered, but self-guided. The vibrations did not have the annoying buzz of some LSD. None of the potential nausea of mushroom or cactus psychedelics. None of the overweening love of psilocybin. But an appropriateness. A calming, centering, but powerful sense of peace. With me. It then slowly became apparent where the energy waves were coming from. It was as if I was hovering several levels of obfuscating reality above a great howling source of light. As levels of misconceptions, representation, illusion, consensuality, diffused and dissipated like a clearing fog. The sound grew louder and louder. It was the sizzling of an arc light of billions of volts. It was a roaring of 1,000 suns. It was the sound of the universe ablaze. As it became more apparent, it was a huge round ball that I was now orbiting. To call it white light would be to pale and daub this light monochromatic. It blazed with a radiance that was primordial, an intensity that was absolute. I came to know, not through language, but through innate recognition, that this roaring explosion was life itself. It shrieked and pulsed through everything living. It was the source of the crystalline movement of life. It was the precursor to the original ball of starseed that exploded and created all that exists in our Big Banginger. Depending on your cosmology, pulsating universe, light would be, and it flowed through me. I was connected to it as if by an immense shuddering optical fiber of not only light, but energy. This was a pre-religious experience. Religion now seemed superfluous next to being in the presence of this source of life. Spirituality had become a limp representation of the fury and power of life. It was not awesome. It was awe itself. It was not godly, but godding. It was not goodly, but the way it was, the pure absolute that was not right, or loving, or benign, but just the way it was, life alive. Of course, one loves all other living creatures. Of course one feels that everything is all right with creation. Of course we are all united. We are simply all part of the fire of life. If this source of energy that flows through us did not exist, neither would we. Love, spirituality, peace follow from this experience as surely as one breath leads to another. No big deal. It is merely our nature. Most astonishing of all, I could remember this connection from the past. It was flowing through me all the time. I had felt it earlier in my life. As a child, there seemed to be a dim memory of the immense glory of life from my infancy. Do we forget this incredible birthright as we age? It did not matter, for I knew what I was. As the high point of the experience waned, I began having experiences more common to other psychedelics. My open-eyed visual field meshed into hexagonal geometric patterns. When I looked at my own, or another's face, we seemed mythic, glowing, young, timeless, peaceful. Moving hands through the air trailed beaded radiant energy patterns. Spoken sentences took on multi-levels of understanding and cosmic penmanship. Most reported a levity, but not toward giggles, but a deep, powerful peace. This is the drug we never took, said one. This is the natural state of human beings. A slight headache persisted through the next 2 days. Most of us had gone to sleep or left after 8 hours on the substance. All of our group integrated smoothly back into ordinary reality. frequently remarking on the profundity of their experience. Some reported no visual hallucinations like mine. One never went inside, for fear of engaging sad memories. Several stayed exterior to their internal processes, and conversed or visited with each other during the whole episode. Some exhaustion has been reported by each. I'd recommend a day of complete rest for anyone who takes this drug. Yet some took ecstasy again the following night with no untoward effects. Everyone seems to want to repeat their experience with 2CB. I extend my gratitude to the fabricators of these chemicals, and for the privilege of being alive. Express year 1984 XBID 110016. Gender male. Age at time of experience not given. Published February 17, 2017. Views 8,318. View as PDF. For printing. View as latex. For geeks. Switch colors. 2CB 52. Small group 2 to 9. 17. Hangover days after 46. Entities beings 37. Mystical experiences 9. Glowing experiences 4. Combinations 3. General 1.